So if you clicked on this video, and if you already use your stone, don't worry about it. It's very likely this video will still provide useful for you when it comes to understanding which character is going to be able to return, when characters are returning, when should you summon, and when should you be able to expect when certain characters should return. So if you're still not deciding, let me pull up my screen right now. So if you're still deciding on your characters right now, the obviously first pick and decision is obviously going to pick the first six anniversary LRs, whichever one you want. Probably don't recommend the Angel like Frieza just because of the fact that he's a lot more, what is it, defensively not good when like your HP is above 100%. But like picking whichever character you believe, like Gogeta or Vegeta, like the obvious two picks are gonna be obvious. Now it becomes a question of when the heck do all of these characters return? When do they come back? And when can you expect them to summon for them again? So let me go ahead and break this down for you, and let me give you the first things. I know a lot of people are gonna believe and say that they should probably go for Gotenks, Daima Goku, and Glorio. One thing I would not advise that Daima, Goku, and Glorio will return back around the Golden Week celebration. So to give you kind of a view on this, let me go ahead and remove the screen. Golden Week banners tend to have the last 2 years of Golden Week and almost like the last 3 years of the New Year's characters. This is kind of how they are because the fact that we've had it so that way they've had the last years of they would have the current years, they would have the previous years as you can see currently. We had the SSJ3 Goku with the Fat Buu, and we had the 2023 with the Goku and the Piccolo, and then we had the 2020 two characters for the New Year for 2022 New Year's and also the celebration. So like this is a case where like the Golden Week and New Year's characters return every like 3 times a year. So like I would recommend not skipping for these or I recommend skipping these banners because most of the time you can pick up these two characters such as Daima Goku and Glorio. They come back on the probably like one of the best banners for your value, which is the worldwide download celebration. Like you can literally see it right here. SJ3 Goku is right there, and Inter Rudigon's right there as well. So that's for like the New Year's. I can also give you a personal story right now. I did not have a single version of Fat Buu, and when I was chasing for Gohan, Goku, and Trunks, I managed to pull 5 copies in Rainbow Home just off this banner. And I'm a free-to-play player who essentially saves his stones from the start of Anniversary to worldwide banners. So that should tell you like how much these banners have in terms of value. So my first suggestion is always go ahead and skip Daima, Goku, and Gloria, not because they're bad, but because they're gonna return so many times that you might just pull more copies than you actually wanted to and you expected. Gotenks is returning back on Carnival Jiren's banner, or in this case, the next year Tanabata banner. So if you want to get him at that time, you'll be able to pick him up, and UI Goku will also return in this Tanabata, but also right after on Saiyan Day in about like 4 weeks. So I would highly advise not going for them either in this case. I would probably, in this case, also recommend picking up a character that you might need in terms of like villainy. Like villain characters are going to be obviously good, and you probably want to go ahead and do so when it comes to those type of characters. But yeah, that's mostly like my advice right now when it comes to stones. Let me go ahead right now and break down also like what the summon schedule is for everybody right here. So you can see, and there's gonna be notes in this. This slide is gonna be in the link inside the video. If you go down to the description, I will be linking this slide, and you can all visit the Dokkan calendar to see exactly when characters return, when they appear, and who exactly um, will be coming back. So first thing first, we already know that from New Year's, the last 2 previous years of Golden Week and New Year's characters will come back onto these banners, as you can see from the screenshots. And they usually have the easy, like an Easy A character that will be there, and also with another character will get an Easy A. I don't know about why Janemba and well, I understand why Janemba and actually Pycon was there, but they didn't get an Easy A because they mostly correspond to the theme of movies. Of course, we have the anniversary banner. This was made prior to us knowing that this was going to be a 6 LR banner, but you can follow the typical corresponding of the fact that it's always going to be the last 2 years of Worldwide Download Celebration anniversary characters. And my assumption is that for the 2026, Gohan and Frieza will return back as two characters into one carnival, and etc. etc. Also, for all these ratings right here, if you see it at the top right here when it comes to ratings, this is for advice for purely for free-to-play players, as most of you guys are probably going to be needing to save your stones, but my advice is just that you hold around 2,500 stones for any and worldwide download celebration, so that way you can always get the pity character. That's my general advice when it comes to this celebration, and that you can always do that. Next thing next, let's go ahead and break down. I don't recommend ever going for the like this afterwards post anti Dokkan Fest. For it seems to be the case where like the post anti Dokkan Fest, it's not that it's not great. It's just that they either become very restrictive, such as Ginyu right here, who was good but restricted, or Frieza over here was just not as great. So I would always advise kind of like skipping this as you kind of want to have the cooldown and just go into waiting until probably like Saiyan Day. Saiyan Day is I give an orange rating just because of the fact that most of the time I think this is the best place to spend your coins for a Tanabata character if you're not gonna go for summoning for them. And you can just go ahead coin the LR, and then the Saiyan Day Dokkan Fest that comes out for that year. So in this case for 2025, will come back around the October post worldwide download celebration banner. So it could see how on these Planet Namek Vegeta, Saiyan Day Vegeta also came back. So I would highly advise just like if you're that is a very long time span. I think that is around 6 to 7 months of return time. So that's longer compared to like what the other ones are. Although that is typical compared to like let's say the New Year's because New Year's and World and the Golden Week always return backs every 3 months. So that's a banner that you don't necessarily have to chase afterwards as a free to play player. All right, moving on with this. Pre-Tanabata banner, usually more of a bait banner. Sometimes they're good characters, such as like Cell Max in the case, but sometimes they're not. So I would recommend just like either don't summon if you're a free-to-play player because most of the times your stones are not worth the value. My advice usually for players when it comes to like spending in Dokkan, if you're gonna be spending your stones, and make it so that at least like the first top four rows listed, or like at least the top six maybe, if you want to get even more frugal, is characters that you don't have. Because that way you can then assure yourself that you're going to be at least getting new playability and probably new characters that can help you with your categories. I think there's a very good likely chance that Sand is going to have some Daima related characters. So there might be a case for that way. And then also Golden Week's probably also be Daima related as well. We'll wait and see on that. Next word, Tanabata banners. Usually I recommend this is also summon skip. Same reason as the Saiyan Day. I want you to use your coins and also be related to the theme. August in between Dokkan Fest, this banner usually also returns back around. Weirdly enough, it comes back in the April banner, so it's like around I think a 6 months wait, 6 to like a 8 month wait. So this character is also like in cahoots with being like a character who does not return as frequently on banners as possible. Because I think that if previous years Dokkan Fest was in this case 2023 was Kale. Kale only came back on. See, she wasn't on Frieza's. She wasn't on Saiyan Day. She was on the April Fool's banner, so she had to take a whole year leap around. And I think she also came back then later on for like somewhere in the October November. If we look back here, in this case, yeah, like I don't even see Topo as often as I thought. No, Topo's comes back on the April 1st, comes back on August. So like April's Dokkan Fest comes on August. August Dokkan Fest comes back on April. So it's basically a cycle. That's the one cycle you can probably keep aware of. Additional information and additional things. Uh, I know I've mentioned this, the Tanabata, and already mentioned the worldwide. There's a very likely good chance that with the switch to now having sync, worldwide banners will no longer be in that August to September time slot. It's very likely I'm thinking that worldwide banners will be moved up to the Tanabata time slot, so they will be in the June and July era, and then the Tanabatas will be switched to the end of August. Or in this case, it might be like this might be switched to Christmas. And the reason why I believe this is the case is because then it becomes a whole Tanabata slash global celebration. So that way, JP calls it Tanabata, Global calls it Global Anniversary. And if you've noticed that the celebrations for Tanabata for the UI Goku, this is when in this case this would be when Gogeta and Vegeta would show up. My best belief is that if they make it so that it's the worldwide celebration, then they can also pair it up so that way the Carnival banner would then have Gohan, Frieza. Actually, that would be a cracked banner. So it'd be a new character. It would be Gohan, Frieza. It would be and then another banner would have probably the other characters, and then Gotenks would probably be on that, and Jiren would be on the other side. So they would probably make it so Gotenks and Jiren are different two slides like this. So like one here and one here, and then Goku and Frieza and Gohan, etc. As I explained it. So yeah, that should be the main focus. That's the things you probably want to look out. Post Worldwide Dokkan Fest, as I kind of mentioned already, like anything after a big celebration should be majorly wise just skipped. So in this case, you should probably just not focus on getting these characters too often when it comes to this year, when it comes to upcoming celebrations. Not because of its unhypeness, just because of the fact that these characters are usually like after a free-to-play player, you're going to be spending your stones, and afterwards it's kind of like a collapse in your rejuvenation of like basically being able to summon. The only concern right now is probably the fact that the Dragon Ball Hero Celebration will not be able to have a time slot. And considering that what I've heard from Breakers not doing as well, or I'm forgetting what the name of the actual new sequel is, the Super Bowl Dragon Ball Heroes, this is likely going to be a very up on time slot. It may be a case where they might just change it so that way the November celebration is now a Black Friday celebration, considering what they did in 2024. So I would highly advise to look out for that and see what this is. And that's what I would recommend for like new players and everybody who's trying to summon for this team. In terms of that, and then the December Dokkan Fest, I don't recommend summoning for Buhan just because of the fact that it was coming up for it. Anniversary. You'll probably want to save your stones. You probably want to do it. Gohan's a good character. A lot of people don't have him, so like Gotenks is a good character. I would highly recommend that you would go for your stone, and being able to get Gotenks would be a lot helpful for a lot of characters. Yeah. So that's how I go. I probably would recommend that if you already have all of the LRs for this anniversary, go ahead and go for Gotenks, or go ahead and chase for that Vegito or Gogeta dupe if you think that's a lot more viable as well. In terms of the other characters, I probably would recommend going for a villain in this case. I most likely would believe that depending on which one's your weakest, like such as Majin Power, if you're still it's pretty if your team is still weak after Buhan and also Buu, I would go ahead and pick them up as well if you are. But I wouldn't recommend it because they're gonna reappear again uh this celebration and upcoming Golden Week, and they're gonna be returning. All right. So that should be all of this right here. And if you ever need to refer to it, this, again, like as I mentioned right here, this will be inside the link right now for the channel. And you will be able to pull it up anytime soon. And also, if you have any suggestions, such as how to revise this and also asking for any other further details, let me know. But yeah, this is just a short, simple video, just talking about what characters, when they come back, when they release, that tell you about exactly when the time frame is, and basically showing keys and example. Shout out to Dokkan Info for all the screenshots, and that will be the end of the video. All right, see y'all later. Peace. Bye bye.